Hi, everybody. Today we are going to be working on looking back at our drafts and doing them again. This time, really thinking about the meaning of the story and how we can bring out the meaning, the deeper meaning within our stories. Yesterday, kids did a really great job of that, getting your thoughts out, getting it on paper, and really digging into these stories. Today, now we're going to start getting into redrafting, and that means really digging in and redoing sections of it. We're not just editing for spelling and grammar. We're digging in and we are redrafting pieces of this to truly make it a better story. So, for today, you're going to revise your essay for its deeper meaning and rewrite sections using details that bring out that meaning. And when we revise, we're seeing it again. Revision means seeing it again. So, we are really focusing on making sure we rewrite portions of our text today so that it brings out the deeper meaning. Take a second and just put that in your own words. What is your goal today? What is your objective? All right, now I'm going to pause today and I'm going to actually have you look at my draft that I've prepared so far. And I want you to think, what is my story really about? What is it really showing as far as a message? And then we're going to go through this work today and see just how, as a writer, I can revise so that it brings out this deeper meaning. And how could I rewrite a section to really show that deeper meaning? So, first, let's look at what I have so far. So, this is the story of my dad and his football disappointment. I raced out of school. Wow, I can't wait to ask my parents to join the team, I said to my friend Steve. Yeah, me too, he replied. We each ran our separate ways to our buses to head home. After I got off the bus, I got a little nervous. I wanted to join the football team so bad, but I needed my parents to sign the permission slip. I did all my homework right away so they're happy with me when they get home. My sister Tammy walked in the room. Why are you doing your homework already, Todd? She asked in a snotty tone. Leave me alone, Tammy, I said, and closed my door. I felt a little bad, but she can be so annoying sometimes. She's always trying to get under my skin. A little time passed by, and then I heard Tammy talking to someone. It was my mom and dad. They were home from work. I went out there and finally did it. I asked if I could join the team. They looked at each other and quickly responded, no. But why? I demanded. Todd, it says right here the games are on Saturdays. You know the band plays every weekend and you need the money from that. I could tell by the look on their faces that there was no arguing with this. So I hung my head and walked to my room, defeated. I kept trying to think of ways around this, but I knew there was none. Once my mom and dad made up their minds, that was it. I was so disappointed, but such is life. Things don't always go your way, and you have to just move on. Now, what I want to be thinking about is, what is my story really about? What is the message that I should be leaving readers with, the theme, the life lesson that they're learning from my story? And when I think about that with my story, I'm thinking of how the deep message from it really is my dad's disappointment, right? And how he deals with his disappointment and how he learns the lesson that sometimes things don't go your way. And when I look at my draft, I didn't do a great job of stretching that part of my story out to really show how important that is. So, to help me with this, here's a strategy we're going to do today. Draw a picture. So, I took the time to draw a picture of this scene, the scene of my dad. Don't judge my artwork. I never said I was a great artist. My dad asking his mom and dad about playing the game, playing on the football team, and them saying no. And if this is the most important part of my story, if this is what really brings out that message, that theme, then I need to really work on retelling this part. So I need to go into my draft and I am going to go into this section and retell it in a way that truly does bring out this meaning. So when I go over into my draft, I really want to go back to this part where he's asking, right? It says right here. So I could tell by the looks on their faces, and we need to add some more detail, right? So rather than just I hung my head and walked to my room defeated, I need my dad to really think longer and harder about this to show that message. So when I get back to my room, what am I going to tell Steve at school tomorrow? I think to myself. In quotations because he's thinking aloud to himself. And then we want to really show his disappointment. Keep thinking of ways around it, but I know there's none. Once mom and dad made up their minds, that's it. And we need to stretch this out more, right? I can't just say he's disappointed. So what else could he be doing right now? He could be looking out the window. How unfair this is. I want so badly to be out on the field, but I have this obligation. I was so disappointed, but such is life. Things don't always go your way, and you have to just move on. I do want to work on that ending, a stronger ending. I'm just going to highlight that as a note to myself. We'll do a lesson on endings as it comes, but that is something else I want to work on. So, notice we do not just look back at our story and say, yep, it's great. We need to go in and take parts away, add parts, and really make sure it brings out its message. When you're doing this, tell the story differently to bring out a more important message or meaning. You might decide that you need to start your story either earlier or a little later to get to this point. Maybe instead of starting my story with my dad getting on the bus, maybe I go back to the moment where his teacher passes out the flyer about the football team and I start showing how excited he is. That's going to help me get more detail about it. You might tell the story out of order. I could have told the story starting with my dad's parents saying no, and then almost a back in time to when this all started and how they got up to that moment. That might help bring the meaning out. You also want to emphasize the parts that other people are playing. So, what role do the other characters play within the story? Maybe I have my dad go back to school and actually talk to Steve, and I really see that disappointment as he talks to his friends. Right now, I want you to pause the video and I want you to think about which of these methods might work for you with your story. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to look back at the draft you wrote, and then I want you to think, what is the message of your story? What life lesson should readers get when they read that story? What do you want it to convey? And then do that work. Draw a quick picture and practice storytelling with your picture first and how to bring the heart of the story out. And then we'll actually get into the revising. So pause here, draw your picture, and practice the storytelling. All right. Now it's time to get into the drafting, writers. You're going to go back into your draft, and I want you to rewrite portions of it, really thinking, what is this story about? What is the message that I want my readers to get from this? Don't think so hard about your first draft. If you need to entirely erase it and start fresh today using one of those strategies, do that. That's fine. We are revising this to make it better and to bring out its meaning. When you're all done today, I want you to go into Google Classroom and make sure you answer your exit ticket question. What did you do today to make sure readers really understand the message of your story and really understand what your story is about? You have a lot to do today. You need to go in and revise, and then you need to answer this exit slip question. So I need you to get going right away.